How's it going, Twitch? My name is Skull, and on behalf of East Asia Soft, welcome to today's stream. Today is Sunday, which means, as usual, I'm terribly sorry, I am continuing my playthrough of If My Heart Had Wings, which, if you haven't watched me play this before, this is my 12th day playing this, almost a full quarter of the year that I have been playing this so far. It's just a beautiful game. I'm still not done with it yet. Still got many weeks ahead of me. If you want to get caught up with my playthrough of this, all of our videos do get archived onto our YouTube channel. So head over to youtube.com/EastAsiaSoft to get caught up. And if you want to own this game physically, there are still a few copies of the limited edition available. The regular edition is all sold out, and as this is an East Asia Soft limited printing, once they're gone forever. So if you like this game and want to own it physically on the Nintendo Switch, head over to PlayAsia, pick up your copy. Better do it now, because there are not that many left. Oh, I haven't played that game. Sorry, Lapo. Also, hello, Lapo. Anyway, so last episode, we got this beautiful picture of the gliding club with their glider. Man, everyone just looks so happy, and man, it was just such a great episode last time. Of course, we met two new girls, Yoru and Nasa, and so now we got a whole lot of stuff to look forward to this time. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into it. Is that correct? That's correct. Here we go. We had just started a new scene. Matsutsugu had just said, "I didn't think that you guys would actually go and steal it." As we stepped out into the hallway, Matsutsugu came over to us. The one who gave us the information about the glider was Matsutsugu. Yeah, Lapo, I'm not going to talk about it too much in the stream, but yeah, it just got to be too much. And I'm glad I stopped. I've ended up selling a lot of my games to fund other stuff that I do care about. So it all works out. It seems he found out because it came up in the student council agenda. What do you mean? In the past, we used to play way worse pranks than this with Tatsuya, didn't we? Agea nodded in agreement. Sure. Do you know how much work we put into that thing? When you think about from our point of view, the school stole the glider from us. Thanks for helping out. Yeah, we stole a glider. Straight up. $10 says Asa is going to join the soaring club.
けだと思ってさ。他にやりたい部活ないんだったらね、麻婆豆腐おごってあげるし。麻婆なんだったら担々麺もつけちゃう。美味しい超辛い中華料理を見つけたんだ。担々麺お主が辛いものに弱いのは知ってるんじゃぞ。ほれ、つられるがよい。
She and my brother would get along. My brother eats jalapenos for breakfast. And I wish I was exaggerating.
がっくり。姉さん。お、ヨルちゃん、そっちもホームルーム終わったの？うん。どうしたの？いやね、クラスの子から部活の勧誘受けてて。あら、君って朝ちゃんの双子？じゃああなたもどうかしら。カルタって一見地味に見えるけど結構白熱する競技で。私はパス。別にカルタに興味ないし。ヨールちゃん待って。ちょっと朝ちゃんまた逃がしたか。
Freshman year is hard, okay? That's about all the commentary I have on that.
ちょっとヨルちゃん、感じ悪いよ今の。だって別にカルタに興味ないし。姉さんだってそうでしょ。
Yoru's kind of bossy, isn't she?
そりゃそうだけど。姉さんって頼まれごと断るの下手だよね。いつか誰かに利用されて損しちゃうよ。大丈夫だよ。私それなりに賢いし。自分で賢いなんて言っちゃってる時点でね。それに私なんかに声かけてくれてるんだから適当に返したりなんてできないよ。姉さんはほんと優しいわよね。だったらカルタ部に入ってあげればよかったのに。でもそれはねえヨルちゃん、ソアリング同好会ってどこで活動してるのかな。
I love how, like, these girls are the exact same drawing, but there's enough differences for you to immediately tell who's who. Asa has the green ties in her hair. Yoru has the flowers in her hair. Asa has, like, I don't know what kind of a tie that is. It's sort of like a loose ribbon tie, I guess. And Yoru has the necktie. So there's enough subtle differences between them that you can immediately tell who's who at a glance.
どうしたの急にそんな話題。
Even though I'm pretty sure these are the exact same drawing. Like, I'm pretty sure whoever the artist is for this game only had to draw this girl once, and then just duplicated it and changed the accessories just a tiny bit.
いやね、姉さん、もしかして。いや、やめた方がいいよ姉さん。ソアリング同好会は部活じゃない。部員だって少ないみたいだし、めんどくさい先生に睨まれたりもして悪いことずくめ。だからみんな入らない、近づかない。大体あんな奴らの仲間になんて。よくご存知だね、ヨルちゃん。
Also, I think... I haven't seen this enough to prove it, but I think Yoru is given more often, like, grumpier expressions on purpose, and Asa is given more light expressions. I don't know if that's by design or just the way the game determines who gets what, but I've noticed that, which makes it easier to tell one from the other.
まあね。じゃあ活動場所も知ってる？それは知らない。というか人が止めてるのにスルーなのね、姉さんは。でも姉さんがそんなにお熱なんてほんと珍しいよね。 私の心の清涼剤、愛しき姉さんを奪う悪い奴らめ、絶対に許さないんだから。ヨロちゃん、ほんと私が励ましてもどうってことなかったのに、なんで急に元気になっちゃうかな。最近ずーっと微妙な塩梅だったじゃない姉さん。なのにさ、どうしてどうしてって言われても、あの寮に来てから目とかランランしちゃって元気になって、そりゃ私も嬉しいけどそれ以上に悔しいし。ヨルちゃん、
And they just happen to walk up on this.
返してもらったのよ。だってあれは私たちのものなんですもの。
だからってな、もうちょいやり方ってもんが。
What do you mean? In the past, we used to play way worse pranks than this with Tatsuya, didn't we?
やったよね。で、怒られたよね。
俺はお前らと違って真人間なんだ。
And they walk in on this.
声かけないの？いや、楽しそうだったから声かけないってのがよくわからないけど。私なんかが入っちゃうと迷惑じゃない。コミュニティ乱しちゃうだけだよ。姉さん、中途半端な遠慮がちょっとうざい。そんなんでスワリング同好会がどうのなんて。だって話しかけたいなら話しかければいいのに。それでスワリング同好会がどこで活動されてるか聞けば一発だったじゃないの。それはそうなんだけど。ほんと姉さんはいつだって他人優先よね。自己中の私と違って心配になるくらい。
I like this scene a lot. It gives you a lot of information about these two girls, what makes them different from each other.
それが姉さんのいいとこだとは思うけど。別に他人優先ってわけでもないよ。それに私も自己中だし、いきなり引っ越したいって言ったのも私だし。それでヨルちゃん巻き込んじゃったし。私に関して言うなら勝手についてきただけだけどね。姉さんが心配だったから。ほら、やっぱり迷惑かけてるよ。そうだ、もっと迷惑かけるつもりでおじいちゃんにグライダー買ってって頼んでみたら？あれくらいだったら買ってくれるかもよ。違うんだもん、買いたいわけじゃないもん。そうじゃなくて、あれを自分の手で作る？なんだろう。うまく言えないけど、ああいうものに私も向かいたいというか。夢ねえ、私にはわからない感性、くだらないお遊びとしか思えない。でも姉さんらしいや。
Oh, she didn't have ribbons in her hair. That was a
一つずつ解決していきましょう。
I saw that. On the way home, we were discussing the conditions that Akari spoke to us about. The easiest one to solve is getting enough members. Agea, do you have anyone in mind?
なくはないけど、しのちゃんとか興味あるみたいだし。葵はどうなの？
I hardly have any ideas either. There's no one who actually come forward and said they want to join. The level of awareness of our club had risen since the time Amane was alone, and more people seemed interested. However, the rumor that if you get involved, Mr. Tobioka will have his eye on you was spreading as well, which made it difficult. Kotori, how about you? As Kotori sat there in her wheelchair, she looked down, deep in thought. Her expression seemed gloomy somehow.
どうしたの小鳥？私ね、新入部員入れたくない。
What are you saying?
だってその誰かは私たちがどんな思いで何をしてきたか知らないのよ。モーニンググローリーに憧れる気持ちも、あまねちゃんとイスカのことも。
Or about the day we were so close but couldn't quite make it. Agea and I had the same kind of expression as Kotori. We had mixed feelings about having new members join. We were still trying to carry out our activities as a club, so I understood this was a contradiction. It wasn't easy to make a clear decision.
あまねちゃん、今頃どうしてるかな。さあ、相変わらずなんじゃない？
Amane was now working at her father's laboratory. We sometimes texted her, but the replies either didn't come, or if they did, they came much later. It was obvious that she wasn't much of a writer, and it's likely that she didn't even realize the text had been sent to her. Sometimes she replied to several texts at the same time, so the content of the message was hard to understand. She was probably working hard at the laboratory, but I wonder what she did all day. Is she eating properly, I wonder? I felt nostalgic as I recall the way she ate, which totally spoiled her good looks. We only spent about 2 months together, but to us, that time still felt very special.
あまねちゃんにとってグライダーはもう過去のものになっちゃったのかな。
As Kotori mumbled quietly, we all started to feel kind of depressed. When she's concentrating on something, she loses sight of everything else around her.
きっとそのうちすごい発明品を作って世の中をあっと言わせちゃうんじゃない？
It's possible that Amane's inventions were already everywhere, but we just hadn't realized it. She wasn't the sort to boast about her own achievements. Which is why, even if that happened, she wouldn't go and send us a text to brag about it. It'd be nice if she sent us any kind of text at all, though.
また飛ばないとね。それであまねちゃんに見てほしい。
Right. In order to do that, there were many problems which we had to solve. One of it was finding new club members. That was a weird sentence.
ここのパーツは学校の機材で作れるんだよ。だから昼休みにでも忍び込んで。問題は主翼よね。
I guess there's no way we can make them unless we have somewhere spacious.
時間もかかるからあんちゃんとこの工場を借りるのも難しいし。ガレージさえあれば。あ、何か用？
As we had spread out the blueprints at the dining hall table, we noticed Asa watching us from a distance. Wow! She actually looks like she fits right in with the group. Look at that. That's such a nice picture of them. I think this is the first time we've seen Asa or Yoru with any of the others in the same picture. And she looks really nice with them. It almost seemed like she was hiding from us. Kotori looked a little confused. Oh, are we in the way? Sorry that there are no other big tables. Since we lost the garage, Flying Fish Manor had become the base of operations for the X-Soaring Club. We normally used my room, but I'd vacated that for now, so the only other places were here or Kotori's room. We needed a table to lay out the designs, so now we were using the dining hall table.
皆さん楽しそうだなと思って。
She would really love being a Soaring Club member, wouldn't she? I hope that she asks and she gets in.
楽しそう？
We all looked at each other. Because we looked like we were all deliberating it, Asa felt unnecessarily intimidated.
それ設計図ですよね。
Yeah, for a glider.
作るんですか、自分たちで？そうだよ、全部じゃないけどね。すごい。3年生にもなるとそんなこともできるようになるんですね。さすがおじいちゃんの慶風学園だ。
Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Until now, we hadn't been taught anything in class about making gliders.
あれ、でもグライダーはもうあるんじゃ。
Yeah, but something happened.
あれ壊れたままだし。
Agea spoke like it was something to laugh about. On the last flight with Amane, the fuselage was damaged, and it still hadn't been repaired.
まあでもしばらくは無理ね。修理も改造も。どうしてですか？場所がないのよ。でっかいものを作るにはそれ以上にでっかい場所が必要なの。でっかい場所ですか。
Ozza seemed to be mumbling something.
お腹すいた。
Kaneko whimpered as she came into the dining hall. I looked at the clock and it was getting late. It's already this late? It was about time to start preparing dinner. Shall we call it a day?
うん、そうだね。
We folded up the blueprints to make space.
朝ちゃんどうかした？いえ、別に何でも。それじゃあまた明日ね。
Yeah.
またね、アゲハ。
Kotari and I saw Agea out and then headed to the kitchen.
さてと、夕飯の支度するか。今日はなんだっけ？
Diablo chicken and rocket salad, taught to us by Hibari. Yesterday we made dinner with leftovers, which was a little disappointing to me, so today we wanted something more extravagant. Diablo chicken is a spicy dish of chicken fried in pepper and spices. It is unbelievably delicious. I gotta look that up. A perfect dish to make you sweat and cool off during the summer. Diablo chicken. Okay, saved that for after the stream.
じゃあ、私はサラダ作るわね。
Thanks, I'll leave it to you. It's been a year since she started helping with dinner. Kotari has gotten better.
やったね。私、あれ大好きなんだ。すぐ。
Ooh, nope, wrong button.
本当に美味しいのよ、朝ちゃん。朝ちゃん？
Seemed like Asa was fixated on what was going on in the kitchen. Then,
私も何か手伝います。
she said it as if she were compelled by a sense of duty. Don't worry, since we're causing you trouble by not being able to provide you a room.
そうそう、これは私の仕事だから。でも、
Asa was looking at Kotari.
もしかして車椅子の私が仕事してるのにとか思ってる？いえ、そんなことは。
She fidgets uncomfortably. Seems like Kotari was spot on.
甘く見ないでもらいたいわね。私、こう見えて結構できる女だから。
Kotari stuck out her chest with pride in her wheelchair. Don't worry, once the preparations for your room have been finished, we'll give you some chores to do too.
はい。
For some reason, she became despondent. Did she feel like she was scolded?
いいじゃん。やらせてあげれば。
Kaneko?
葵くんらしくないよ。部屋のことで遠慮してるのかもしれないけど、それは良くない遠慮だと思うな。ほら、朝ちゃん、おいで。
Kaneko took Asa by the hand and brought her into the kitchen.
いいから。ねえ、葵くん、何すればいい？
Could you wash the vegetables? To start, I asked her to do something that seemed easy. Since we had to prepare enough for everyone, there was a lot to wash.
だって。
Kaneko had only brought Asa in here, and it looked like she wasn't planning to help. Asa stood in front of the sink and picked up some vegetables.
これを洗うんですね。
They have dirt all over the roots, so please wash them thoroughly.
わかりました。
Asa answered with sincerity, then started to wash the vegetables. With dish soap. Wait! Stop! You can't use soap!
でも洗うんじゃ。
Just water is fine.
そうなんですか。
Defeated. Fatality. It's been a while since I saw someone trying to wash food with dish soap.
じゃあ水で洗ってと。
Scrub, scrub. Splash. Scrub, 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 scrub. Splash, splash. Scrub, 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 scrub. Hold on, Asa!
はい。
That's probably enough. If you scrub them too much, they'll lose all the nutrients.
そうなんですか。
If we kept on at this pace, we'd never finish.
でもちょっとしか洗わないとばい菌残ってそうで怖いし。もういいから貸して姉さん。ヨルちゃん。
Yoru appeared from behind and took the vegetables from Asa's hand. It seemed that she was worried about Asa, so she was watching over her.
まったく姉さんは本当に容量が悪いんだから。量が多いって言ってもたかが洗うだけなんだからさっさと終わらせる。
Yoru started washing them in a way that looked like she was used to it. Could it be that she was good with house chores? She might be a hard-working and good girl after all.
野菜洗ったらどうする？何かやることあるならついでにやっとくけど。
She asked in a very dull manner. Can I ask you to cut the vegetables then?
やれないわけないでしょ。
It would be a big help if you could cut some onions, carrots, potatoes for the soup.
はいはい。一つだけ言っておくけど、あんたたちの手伝いしてるわけじゃないんだからね。姉さんが見てられないからやってあげてるだけで。
Fair. Let me correct myself. She wasn't a good girl after all.
はい、ピーラー。いらないわ。目が深いからこっちの方が早い。
As she said that, Yoru started to peel the skin from the potatoes with a knife. She was doing it really nicely, only peeling off the skin and leaving the insides intact.
なかなかやるじゃない。
Why do you have a sour grapes about it? After washing the vegetables, she went right to peeling the potatoes and carrots, then started cutting them with the knife.
このくらいのサイズでいいの？もう少し小さい方がいい？
The potatoes were cut into bite-sized pieces. No, that's fine like that.
そう。玉ねぎは薄切りでいいの？
Yeah, lengthwise.
はいはい。言っとくけど、私の時給は高いんだからね。
Chop, chop, slice, slice. This is amazing.
本当に上手ね。葵くんとどっちがうまいかしら。ムカつくけど、私よりできる女だ。ちょっとだけ。何？
Nothing much. Did you make the meals at your house?
別に、このくらい家庭科の授業でもやってればできて当然でしょ。私はできてないけど。私の家、両親が開けることが多くって、使用人が作る料理が気に食わないからってヨルちゃんが作ることが多かったんです。姉さん、いらないことは言わないの。どこで勉強したの？料理。家庭科の授業でこんなことまでやらないと思うけど。ググればいいわ。
I see.
ネット全盛のこの時代、親から教えてもらわなくても料理はできると。ヤルちゃんは何でもすぐに覚えて何でも上手にやれちゃうすごい子なんです。だから私の自慢の妹なんですよ。だから姉さん、余計なことは言わないの。
She was the conceited genius girl. Huh. That day's dinner was delicious. A few days had passed since the twins had come to Flying Fish Manor. We searched all over for some place we could store the glider, but no luck. If we wanted to rent a storage space, it would cost a lot, and there was no way we could afford that. Tatsuya might have been able to help, but we didn't want to get him involved. Our last resort was to put it in the yard. We could carry the glider into the yard and cover it with a sheet. Overlap it so that the rain doesn't get in.
小鳥、そっち引っ張って。ねえ、長さ足りないんだけど。
Everyone came to watch us at work.
こんなとこ置いといて平気なの？
Not sure, but I don't think it's a very good idea. We had no other choice since we didn't have anywhere else to put it. Man, there's a lot of you who just popped in. Hello, viewers.
いつまでこの部屋を使わせる気かしら。私はこの部屋嫌いじゃないけどな。壁の色とか出窓とか洒落てるもん。姉さん忘れたの？ここ男の部屋よ。そうだけど。でも葵さん綺麗好きだしいい人だもん。それは関係ないと思う。昨日だってタンスからトランクスが出てきたし。
Ew.
ヨルちゃんの短パンかと思っちゃったよ私。男の人ってああいうパンツ履くんだね。びっくりだよ。
Totally real conversation that two girls would have, by the way.
ねえ、いい加減諦めて家に帰ろうよ。それかせめてこんなオンボロじゃなくてもっとちゃんとした寮を探してもらいましょう。まさか姉さん本気であいつらの仲間に入りたいって思ってるんじゃ。そもそも泥棒よ。泥棒だからって悪い人とは限らないよ。ほら正義の義足的な。あいつらの行為は自分たちのためでしょ。夢を叶えるためだったらルールを無視していいだなんて、それこそ本当に自分勝手だと思うけど。ヨルちゃんに自分勝手とか言われても。あれ、何かな。外にみんな集まってるよ。
Stuff cloth in the pilot tubes so that bugs don't get inside. Then put the cover over the canopy. I guess they heard us working. We saw the sisters coming towards us. Wow, they look pretty much alike.
何してるんですか？
We're putting the glider here. From now on, it won't cause you any more trouble.
でもこんな場所じゃ。
They said it wouldn't rain for a while, so I guess we can manage something. Kotori, did you say that part's not long enough?
なんとか。こんな場所で本当に大丈夫なんでしょうか。さあどうだかね。 FRP だから腐食はしないし劣化もしづらいけど全くしないってわけじゃないし、そのせいで強度に問題が出て飛んでる最中にパキッ。あれが全部入る場所があればいいんですよね。
Ah, she said we.
そうだよ。そんな場所があればだけどね。ちょっと 姉さん、何考えてるの？あそこなら入るでしょ。だから本気なの？何か言いたいことがあるんならちゃんと言った方がいいよ。そうだ、いい場所があるわ。
That voice rang out surprisingly well across the air on this sunny day. It sounded monotone, like she was reading off of a script. Everyone all stared blankly at her. Asa became timid.
ほら、せっかく言ったんだから。
Kaneko gave Asa a gentle and Kaneko gave Asa a gently push on her back. Gentle push on her back, I guess. Asa took half a step forward. Asa, did you say there's a good place?
はい、実はいい場所に心当たりがあるんです。どこ？
Kotori went forward and asked for answers. Asa seemed like she was holding back as she glanced at Yoru, then pointed towards the lake.
あっちの方です。
Is it really here? The place that Asa had brought us was Windmill Hill. The area around here was supposed to be part of a renewable energy research facility. This place had been opened as a walking course so anyone could enter freely. It certainly wasn't a place to store a glider. However, Asa continued to climb over the gently sloped hill. Behind her, Yoru was sulkily following her. Asa stopped in front of a large building that had been built on the edge of Windmill Hill.
ここです。
Age and I were both surprised. We knew about this building. This had been here before the windmills were built. It looked like a research facility or a storage room and had a somewhat mysterious appearance. We always thought that it was a research facility for monitoring the water quality of the lake. Now that we look at it again, it seems more like a factory. It's much bigger than I remember it.
昔、あんちゃんたちと忍び込もうとしたことあったよね。
At the time, the door was locked, so we couldn't get inside. Asa took a key out of her pocket and opened the door.
どうぞ。
The 10-year mystery was about to be solved. As we stepped inside, our hearts pounded. It was a mess inside. There were desks with old computers and documents, boxes filled with junk. Also, there were bottles of soy sauce and seasoning, which seemed like someone used to live here, but that was probably in the past. It was a place that felt deserted and forgotten.
中はこんな風になってたんだ。
They showed this earlier in the story, where Asa and Yoru were starting school. I guess.
ゾンビ映画に出てきそうな雰囲気ね。まだ使われてるの？いえ、もう誰もいません。ずっと昔、おじいちゃんたちが使っていたって言ってました。事務所っていうよりは研究所って感じだよね。何やってたんだろう。
Agea went ahead and started looking at things in the room.
さあ、おじいちゃんは若い頃の道楽だって言ってましたけど。
Why did they leave it?
この丘一帯がおじいちゃんのものだからよ。今は自然エネルギーの研究のために貸してるだけ。
He owns the hill. He owns the whole hill?
再開発では随分と儲けさせてもらったわ。
Yoru gave a grin as she spoke. He was the board chairman of the academy. He was probably well known. There might be a reason why my mother was friends with him.
私たち、おじいちゃんから鍵をもらって、時々ここに来てたんです。この場所が好きだったから。好きだったのは姉さんでしょ。 私はついてきてただけだもん。
Yoru was muttering under her breath. The reason why she was so sulky must be because she didn't want anyone else to use it. We looked around the room.
広いけど、ここじゃ作業はできないわね。グライダーを保管するには問題ないんじゃない？あ、いえ、ここじゃないんです。
Asa tottered over to the back of the room. We followed her into the room. Okay! Okay! The Avengers called, they want their headquarters back! Kotori was overwhelmed by how spacious it was. As I looked up at the high ceiling, my jaw dropped. This isn't so much a garage, it's more like...
ドックよね。
Yes, a hangar. For building and maintaining airplanes. That's judging by how vastly spacious it was, and the equipment that was in here.
なんでこんなものがこんな場所にあるわけ？おじいちゃんたち、昔趣味で飛行機を作ってたって言ってました。いつも口癖みたいに、わしらはここで青春時代を過ごしたんじゃって。
If it's Asa's grandfather, then it's possible that this would have been after the war. They might have gathered scrap and tinkered around with machines.
どうでしょう。バッチリよ。これだけの広さがあれば2台くらいいっぺんに作れちゃうわ。うんうん。
There was no problem with the space or the equipment. Rather, there was more than we need. It's not that far from the runway either. It would be easier to transport it from here than from the school.
早速運び込みましょう。でもってすぐに修理に取り掛かるのよ。あんちゃんに頼んで車出してもらわないとね。
Wait. They were talking as if it had already been decided we'd be using it, so I stopped them for a moment. Of course, it would be good if we could use it, but for Asa to say that we can use it for nothing in return made me kinda worried. That was how good this facility was. Is it really okay for us to use this place? Asa had a meek look on her face as I asked her.
一つだけ条件があります。
Asa spoke nervously as her voice became high-pitched. So it was not for nothing after all. We braced ourselves for what condition might be.
私も仲間に入れてください。
As Asa shouted out her intentions, her voice echoed through the quiet hangar. It echoed for a while, before gradually disappearing.
私グライダーのこと何も知らないし、何の取り柄もないです。夜ちゃんみたく何でもできればいいんだけど。
Hi, Killa Rhino. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. First time viewer, too. Hope you enjoy your time here. Going well, just playing through this beautiful VN that I have fallen in love with.
でも私もグライダー作りの仲間に入れてほしいんです。
At the last part, it sounded like she was going to cry as she did her best to speak her mind.
小鳥。
Kotori had a serious look on her face as she was deep in thought. Kotori had said a few days ago that she didn't want any new members to join. We felt the same way, but of course Kotori understood the situation. There was no way we could stop someone from joining.
やっぱりダメでしょうか。
Hey, Asa,
はい。
why do you want to join us? Yep, this is the channel for East Asia Soft. We stream 3 days a week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays.
グライダーに興味があるから？それとも私たちが楽しそうだったから？
Tuesdays and Fridays are usually devoted to whatever brand new games are coming out, And Sundays are whatever I choose, which is usually playing through a game that I started and liked so much I wanted to continue, like If My Heart Had Wings. Next Sunday, since it's Halloween, I'll be playing Crimson Spires in a very Halloweenish game.
それは
So yeah, if you enjoy EAS games, then definitely consider hitting the follow button so that you can watch whatever game I end up playing. Asa began to stutter as she asked her a slightly tricky question. We needed a new member, and if we were able to use this amazing facility, there was no reason not to accept this offer. The thought went through my mind, but there was a feeling deep inside of me that wouldn't let me accept the offer so easily.
私この場所が好きで夜ちゃんと二人で時々遊びに来てたんです。ここでおじいちゃんが飛行機を作ってたって言ってたから。
That's what Yoru said before. Asa is just interested in things that fly through the sky.
あの日も二人でここに来てました。そしたら湖の向こうから白い飛行機が飛んできて。
That sounds familiar. This is how Aoi and Kotori found out about it too. Ah, sounds good, Killer Rhino. A white aircraft?
その時まで私はグライダーっていう名前も知らなかったんです。それもしかして私たち？いつのフライトだろう？
We thought over it a bit, and then realized. Could it be when we did the first test flight? After completing the main wings, we went on our first test flight, and that was also the day that I piloted the glider for the first time. That day I flew across the lake to Windmill Hill. Then when we turned around and headed back to the other side of the lake, I noticed that someone was looking up at us. If I remember correctly, it was two little girls. Maybe they were the girls that like gliders. Just like you, Kotori. I remembered that was the impression that I had. So it was you two who were here?
はい、多分。
Wow, I hadn't even thought about it until now. Yep, that's, well, I work for EAS in the sense that I stream their games. That's about it. I don't make the games, I don't help publish them. Like, literally my job with them is to stream the games here on Twitch. That's how I work for them.
それからまたグライダーが見たくてここで待つようになりました。ほとんど毎日来てたけどウインチが壊れてしばらく飛べなかったのよね。
It appears that during that time Asa was waiting for us.
それからしばらくしてあれは夏休みの終わりくらいだったと思います。家で嫌なことがあって
Aww.
私ここに一晩中隠れてたんです。気がつくと窓から光が差してて外に出てみたら明け方の空にすごく綺麗な雲が浮かんでました。
We were surprised and looked at each other. Could it be?
紫とピンクの空に筆で描いたみたいな一筋の雲が浮かんでて夜ちゃんと一緒に見てました。そしたらそこへ
Without noticing, I was shaking. Agea held my arm to stop it from shaking. Kotori at some point became engrossed in Asa's story.
グライダーが飛んでました。見てたんだあの時はまだそれがグライダーってことすらよく分かってなかったですけどね。ヤルちゃんに教えてもらってそれで分かって、でもずっと見てました。不思議な雲が消えるまでずっと。
Asa closed her eyes. It was as if she was trying to remember what was happening that day.
それが理由なの？はい。私 自分に何ができるとか何がしたいのかとかまだよく分かってないけど、でもいても立ってもいられないんです。あの日見た光景が忘れられないんです。
I noticed that Asa's knees were shaking. It was like she feared something. However, even though she was shaking, she didn't give in. She summoned up her courage as if there was something that she wanted to tell us desperately.
小鳥
Akiha gave Kotori a gentle pat on the shoulder. Kotori nodded. There was no need to check. We all felt the same way.
あなたしかいないわ。うちの新入部員になれるのは。ようこそソアリング部へ。
As of today, you're one of us. Oh yeah, Trigger Witch is so much fun. I can't wait for the physical copy to come in. As she was suddenly welcomed into the club, tears welled up in Asa's eyes. Her cheeks had already become as red as apples.
本当にいいんですか？だって私グライダーのこと何も知らないし、あの取り柄もないし。
It's true, in order to build and fly a glider, you need expert knowledge and techniques.
でも全部の作業がそうってわけじゃないしね。
We were complete beginners a year ago.
皆さんが？
Isn't that right, Kotori?
何の問題もないわ。ここを貸してもらえるだけでもお釣りが来るくらい助かっちゃうし、それに共犯にしちゃえば秘密をばらされる心配もないしね。
It felt like Kotori said something both eloquent yet crooked, but everyone just completely ignored it. The most important thing is your feelings of wanting to fly through the sky.
空を飛びたい気持ち。
If that's how you feel, you'll be fine, right?
うんうん、その通り。というわけだから今日からよろしくね、朝。
Asa, still surprised, wiped away the tears that were in her eyes.
よろしくお願いします、先輩。
Asa was very cheerful, but Yoru, who was next to her, seemed a bit grumpy.
私は入らないから。
Asa looked a little bit troubled by her grumpy twin sister, but she still had a smile on her face. We took another look at the place that we were now able to use. Our heads soon started to fill with all the thoughts of what we would be able to do here.
これでやっと始められるわね。飛ぶための準備をね。
The time had finally come. We were finally able to start working again. Got a place for the glider, got a 4th member. There's not much else they need in order to be a club again. Please, come in.
ここが私たちの部屋ですか？
Oh, this is a nice looking room. Hello. Look at that. That's nice. Asa's eyes opened wide as she saw the tidied up room.
ヨルちゃん、ヨルちゃん、私たちの部屋だよ。すま。
Yoru's eyes were in despair.
デカブツがどいても狭い部屋は狭いわね。広すぎるよりは狭い方が落ち着くよ。ほら、見て見てヨルちゃん、隅っこ。
As she said that, she crouched down in the corner of the room. The size of the room should be enough for 2 people. But to the 2 granddaughters of the board chairman of the academy, the room's size was still considered small. At that moment, I felt the difference in social status. I'm sorry it took so long, and that it's so small.
いいんです。葵さんの部屋も私好きでした。パパの部屋みたいな匂いがするとか言ってたもんね。
Papa?
言っちゃダメだよ、ヨルちゃん。
There's only a 2-year difference between us. kind of makes me feel depressed when I hear people say I look older than my age, but I wouldn't mind having cute daughters like them, though. Before that, there would need to be a mother. You can use this room as you please. The rules are as I told you before.
Hi. Hi.
Well then, yes?
お邪魔します。おお、やっと片付いたんだね。お隣に住んでるものです。これ、お裾分け。
Asa gave a warm welcome to Kaneko, who brought chocolate for them.
どうぞよろしくお願いします、かなこさん。はいよ、こちらこそよろしくね。
After receiving the snaps from Kaneko, the sisters happily shared them between themselves and started eating. I went over to Kaneko and whispered to her, "You seem to pay a lot of attention to these two." During the daytime, it seemed she casually gave some advice to Asa to help her out.
そうかな。そうかもね。
Which was it?
困ったことがあったら言ってね。お隣同士助け合っていきましょう。はい、ありがとうございます。
Well then, I'll leave the rest to you.
はいよ。
I'm relieved that Kaneko is looking out for the twins. Asa, Yoru. Thanks for today. For letting us use that place.
いえ、私こそありがとうございました。精一杯頑張りますので。私は貸すとは言ってないので。
Yoru turned her back to me, then sat back down and started stuffing herself with chocolate. I guess she doesn't like me. Let's do our best from tomorrow. Extend the little wings which fly in this sky highly. It's kind of I don't know how I feel about Asa replacing Amane, but it must go on.
やっほー、あかりちゃん。こんにちは、かなこさん。やけにご機嫌ね。へへん、ちょっとね、うちの寮に新しい子が来たんだけどさ。例の水瀬葵が寮母を務めているという不純な寮母ね。
She doesn't like Aoi for some reason.
そうそう、そのいかがわしい寮に。すっごい可愛い子なんだけどさ、うまくなじめないみたいで心配してたんだよ。でもやっと打ち解けてきたみたいで。
Only talking about Asa. You gotta leave Yoru out like that? Come on.
あなたって案外面倒見がいいのね。そっちはどうなの？生徒会気合い入れてやってるみたいだけど。問題は多いけど一つずつ解消していってるわ。中でも一番厄介なのがソアリング部。そうよ。まったく望月先輩が引退なさったんだから他のこと始めればいいもの。そんなこと言って結構応援してるくせに。してません。私はいつだって公正なだけです。先生はちっとも公正じゃないのにね。でさ、その新しい子もスワリング部に噂をすれば。はーい、あさちゃん。あ、かなこさん、こんにちは。どうも。何してんの？葵先輩たちを探してるんです。部活のことでお話があって。葵先輩？部活？そっかそっか、頑張りなよ。はい、それじゃあ。かなこさんって綺麗だよね。そう？水準以上だとは思うけど。
I haven't seen her wandering around in her underwear yet.
かわいいでしょ。ねえ、かなこさん、あの二人ってまさか。そう、今年 年入った風戸姉妹、理事長の孫だっけ。やっぱり水瀬葵ね。飛岡先生と対立しているからって理事長を味方につける気ね。いやー、ないない。やはり抜け目がないわ、あの男。なんで急に抱きつくの。葵くんのことになると熱くなるあかりちゃんが可愛かったものでつい。
Good night, everybody.
何よそれ、いいから話しなさい。やだもー。
Man, she thirsty.
このセクハラ女。
Okay, that was something that happened.
葵先輩。
As I was eating my lunch, Asa came into the classroom. Kotori and Agea were with the girls, while I was eating with some of the boys I got along with. The boys suddenly got excited when they saw Asa.
誰だあの可愛い子。またお前の知り合いか。
Of course, isn't that obvious? If she wasn't, she wouldn't start calling my name all of a sudden.
どういうことだよ。なんでお前ばっか。
I brushed off their annoying questions and went over to Asa, who was waiting at the door. Hey, Asa, what's up?
あの、
She blushed when she realized that the older students were looking at her.
今日の部活のことでどうかしたの？
Kotori called out from her seat.
あ、小鳥先輩、アゲハ先輩、こんにちは。
She politely bowed her head to them.
そんなとこいないで、こっちおいでよ。
Agea beckoned her over, and Asa fearfully stepped into the classroom. She was nervous about going into the older students' classroom. Been there.
失礼します。
Yoru appeared from behind the door and followed Asa just like a shadow. Should have known Asa wasn't alone. Speaking of which, was Yoru there before? Whatever they do, wherever they go, they're always together. Now it was the group of girls' turn to make a fuss.
双子なの？かわいい。ねえねえ、誰なの？どういう知り合い？ふふふ。この子は私たちの後輩よ。
Kotori seemed to be boasting, almost as if to say, I'm the one who raised them. Even though she only met them recently.
はじめまして、風戸朝です。
Once again, Asa bowed politely and introduced herself. She was quite shy, but she did these kinds of things properly. On the contrary, her sister... With a sullen attitude, she looked away with a look of complete disinterest on her face. In other words, this had nothing to do with her.
小鳥のとこの寮生なんだけどね。今はソアリング同好会のメンバーでもあるの。
Asa blushed in embarrassment as Agea introduced her as a member of our group. The girls called out, "She's so cute!" when they saw her mannerisms. They certainly were cute.
ねえ、お弁当もう食べた？いえ、まだです。これから夜ちゃんと一緒に食べようと思って。
She showed the lunchbox that she had brought with her.
じゃあ、一緒に食べましょうよ。ね、決まり？
Kotori forcefully made the decision for her. Asa was already with it. Asa was alright with it, but
夜ちゃんも一緒にどう？別に構いませんけど。
Yoru accepted the offer too, with a reluctant expression. The group of girls became noisy and excited to see the pretty twins, who were just like a pair of dolls.
しょう、みなせのやつ。
Correction, the boys were the same. Hold on.
何？葵くんも一緒に食べる？
No, I'll pass. Asa came here because she had something to talk about. Probably.
そうだった。ごめんなさい。私そそっかしくて。今日の部活って朝練するんですよね。
When she said there, she meant the secret base that she had told us about a few days ago.
そのつもりよ。
Our leader answered.
じゃあこれ
Asa handed Kotori a key.
合鍵作ってもらったから。勝手に出入りしちゃっていいの？
As expected, even Kotori had her reservations.
はい、構いません。おじいちゃんの許可ももらってます。ありがとう、朝。
Yoru is not happy. Wonder why not. Wonder if there's a reason, or she's just always in a foul mood, like my mother-in-law. After school, we moved the glider to the new base. We took the necessary tools with us and made the preparations that would allow us to start working.
なんだか秘密基地みたいだね。
That expression fits it perfectly.
子供の頃に戻ったみたい。なんか燃えるわ。
Agea went straight to work in a good mood. It's true, this place felt a lot like when we used to play Secret Base when we were little kids. The hangar, constructed from steel, is just how we pictured a secret base back then. Instead of a spaceship or a robot, there was a glider. This was our secret weapon.
おー、なんかやる気出てきた。すごい埃。全然掃除とかしてなかったので。こりゃ手こずりそうね。まずは埃を払って、それから拭き掃除して。
In this room, the cleaning was already underway. There was electricity, and if we cleaned it, we'd be able to stay here overnight. I might go back to the dormitory and get the vacuum cleaner.
そうした方がいいかも。
Kotori answered as she winced from dust going into her face. What's Yoru doing today? I was under the impression that the Kazuto sisters were always together, but today, Yoru wasn't here.
今日は用事があるとかで。
Could it be that she's angry? It seems she was against you letting us use this place. As Asa's expression darkened, a short tone came from her cell phone. It was a text.
ヨルちゃんからだ。お前の大切なものをいただいた。回答 Y より。画像が添付されてる。なんだろう。
Taking an interest, Kotori and I took a look at her phone.
何これ。なんかしましま模様が。
I don't know. At first, we couldn't tell what it was a picture of. There was something that looked like skin, a triangle of fabric, and something stripy.
これ。私のお気に入りのしましまパンツ。
Good night, everybody! What? They were pink stripy panties, but it seems that Yoru was wearing them and had lifted up her skirt to take the picture. In other words, this was a view of underneath Yoru's skirt. Asa went stiff as a board as she looked at the screen. Another text came. Does it get to you? If this makes you mad, you should remember not to ignore your little sister, Phantom Thief Y.
あの子、天才じゃなくてバカだよね。
Asa had frozen like a deer in headlights. It seemed she was in deep shock that her precious panties had been stolen. What am I reading? What could we say to console her at a time like this? Totally powerless. All we could do was pat her on the shoulder. Okay. Phantom Thief Y. Another pair of underwear successfully stolen. And worn, apparently. Wow. Still affected by this incident, we managed to finish the cleaning in half a day. It's quite tidy now, isn't it?
そうね。寝袋とかあればここで寝られそう。
We couldn't just throw things away, so it was still quite jumbled, but cleaner than before.
元気出しなさい、朝。パンツなら今度私がもっといいのを選んであげるから。そうじゃなくて、いや、それもあるけど、葵先輩にパンツ見られたことが悲しいんです。もうお嫁に行けないかも。
What? Really? Anyway, that was too much hassle to get involved with, so I pretended not to hear as I put down the photo frame. This should be okay here. I put the photo frame on the desk, which stood at about waist high. I brought this from the dormitory, along with the vacuum cleaner.
いいんじゃない？部屋のどこからでも見えるし。気合入るよね。天音先輩に見られてるかと思うと。
We couldn't let ourselves down, or Amane. These feelings were what motivated us. On that day, one thing ended, but it was also the start of something new. Asa seemed a bit down when she came over to take a look at the picture of all of us. She was the only one not there.
一緒に撮ろうね。記念写真。私たちのグライダーが飛んだら。はい。そうだ。飛んだ時だけじゃなくてさ、普段から撮っておきましょうよ。私たちの活動の記録ってことで。
Yeah, that sounds good. Something we can leave behind for our successors so they can see what kind of things we did.
後輩たち?
This is a club, isn't it? We'll leave it behind for generations to come.
そっか。そんなこと考えたことなかったわ。
What? Even though we have a new member? The same way we had inherited the glider from Amane, we had to leave something behind for those who came after us. Maybe it was still too early to be thinking about that. But it was fun to think about that kind of future. ごめんなさい、怪盗 Y 様。もう二度と夜ちゃんをないがしろにはいたしません。大切なものを奪われる気持ちが少しは分かったかしら。はい。これに懲りたら妹にもっと優しくするのだ。This makes me uncomfortable. それ以上に男の人にパンツを見られる恥ずかしさを学びました。え？男の人にパンツ？さっきの写真？一緒に葵先輩がいたから。私が履いてたところ？夜ちゃんが履いてたところ、私のパンツ葵先輩に見られちゃった。Okay! That made me feel very uncomfortable. Moving on. Since moving our base of operations to the secret base on Windmill Hill, our club activities were getting more serious. Until now, we'd been working underground, and we couldn't achieve anything that stood out that much, so now it was our chance to work hard. The first thing we had to do was repair the damaged aircraft. ガラスマットが含んだ空気をハケで押し出すようにして樹脂を塗るの。こうでしょうか。塗りすぎ。もっと少しずつでいいから。このくらいですか？まだ多い。 FRP は樹脂の割合が多いと強度が弱くなるの。じゃあこのくらい？少なすぎ。難しいです。In the corner of the hangar, Kotori was teaching Asa the process of making things from FRP. Just like when Angeha taught Kotori a year ago, they were making a dish from FRP.
そうそう、その調子よ。で、なるべく手早くね。なるべく手早く。あ、こぼした。流れてる流れてる。どうしよう。
Asa knocked over the bucket filled with resin. Oh boy.
もう何やってんのよ。ああ、これじゃもう使えないわね。
That's what I thought.
ごめんなさい。
Asa seemed disheartened as she apologized. However, Ageha didn't go easy on her.
いい？ここにある資材には限りがあるの。足りなくなったらグライダーを作れなくなっちゃう。技術はおいおい身につければいいけど、資材や道具は大切にしないとね。
It felt like Ageha was saying, if you understand, then that's alright, then came back over towards me. Ageha and I were repairing the damaged parts of the aircraft. FRP repairs were carried out in much the same way as joining parts that had been built separately. We attached the glass mat to the back of the damaged parts, and then we spread the resin to laminate it. Once it was dry, we would sand it before painting it again, and then it would be finished. It was pretty easy work. The problem was that when we reinforced the damaged areas, the FRP became thicker, which increased the weight. Of course, extra weight reduced the strength, but more importantly, with extra weight, the balance of the aircraft might change.
右翼の損傷箇所はここだけ？
Yeah, next is the body.
よし、今日中に全部終わらせよう。
These were the cracks that we hadn't been able to fix for a year. We wanted to do it so we'd be able to fly again soon.
また失敗しちゃった。
Asa let out a sigh as she cleaned up the resin that she had spilled. Once it had touched the floor, it normally couldn't be used anymore, but since they were practicing making a dish, it was okay. As Ageha said, there was a limit to our materials, and we didn't have the funds to be able to replenish them easily.
空気を押し出すように。おしゃ、おしゃ。ん？何ですか、小鳥先輩。ちょっと思い出してたのよ。私もね、あなたみたいな時期があったわ。
Kotori relaxed, closed her eyes, and started to tell a story about something. The way she looked was just like a great actress looking back on her golden years.
はあ、何をやってもうまくいかなくて、自分はみんなのお荷物なんじゃないかって悩んだりもした。でもね、そんな私を変えてくれたのはかけがえのない仲間たち。
That's a great shot.
かけがえのない仲間たち。そうよ、仲間たちとの絆で私は変わることができた。
She looks like a Peanuts character in this picture, but that's okay.
もう無理、限界。
Ageha threw down the brush she was using to spread the resin.
何かゆくなるようなこと真顔で語ってんのよ。見なさいよ、これサブイボ立っちゃったじゃない。
Next to her, I held onto my stomach as I broke into a fit of laughter. What is this? Don't make me laugh. I can't hold my hand still.
真面目に言ってるのに。はあ、かゆいかゆい。
Watch out, Asa. Sometimes she makes a really serious face and says some hilarious things. Later, Killer Rhino.
はあ、今のはギャグだったんですか？ギャグじゃないもん。
Kotori started throwing things at us in anger. Ow! Sorry, I'm just kidding. Ouch!
こーら、期待に当たるでしょうが。いたた。バカバカ、デリカシーのないアホ野郎ども、地獄に落ちろ。
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm happy you feel that way, though. It's just that you need to have a sense of the time, the place, the occasion. Isn't that right, Ageha?
嬉しいけど真面目に作業してる時に言うのやめて。ほらほらここ手が震えて歪んじゃったよ。そんなの私のせいじゃないもん。あんたたちが悪いんだ。
Not knowing if we were joking or serious, Asa couldn't keep up with it and just watched us.
皆さんやっぱり仲がいいんですね。ちっとも良くない。今の聞いたでしょ。友情を信じてたのは私だけなんだから。ちょっとからかっただけだってば。愛してるよ小鳥ちゃん。
Our friendship will last forever.
もう絶好よバーカ。
Oh no, she was really sulking now. If we left it like this, it would drag on for another week. I'll buy you an ice cream later.
ハーゲンダッチのストロベリーね。
She turned her back to us as we discussed how to appease her, and went back to teaching Asa about FRP.
だいぶ形になってきたわね。
Through the power of friendship and rainbows and... yeah.
こんなのがあの大きなグライダーになるんですか。そうよ。へえ。自分たちが作った翼が飛んでるところを見るのは最高よ。
She has stars in her eyes. Literally, she should get that looked at. A fire was burning in Asa's eyes. She should get that looked at too.
私頑張ります。その意気だ。
The repairs to the glider were soon completed. There were only cracks in a few places, and the repair work itself was quite easy. After that, we carried out a spot check of the whole aircraft and didn't find any problems. With that, we'd reached a point whereby, if we decided to fly, we would be able to. But...
いよいよ始めるわよ。大改造プロジェクト。
At the leader's signal, Ageha laid out the designs. Asa stared at the detailed diagram.
すごいですね。これも先輩たちが書いたんですか。まさか。これはあまねちゃんが書いたのよ。あまねさん。あの写真の方ですか。そう、あまねちゃんは天才だから。正真正銘のね。
Kotori intentionally said it in a way that Yoru, sipping instant coffee while sitting on a chair at the back of the room, would be able to hear. Yoru had mellowed out a little in the last few days, and would occasionally tag along to the hangar with her sister. Yoru seemed unfazed by the comment and continued to ignore Kotori. Just like a cat who continues napping even when a dog is barking at her. The teachers and some of the students had been saying she was a genius, but I'd never seen her claim that herself.
どんな人だったんですか、そのあまねさんって。天然スレスレの天才よ。天然スレスレ。変な人だったよね。自分がすごいってことにまるで気づいてないみたいだったし、客観性が欠如してるのか、はたまた頭の回路が常人とはかけ離れているのか。
She would often say, "That's because I'm stupid."
へえ、でも優しそうな人ですよね。優しいっていうか子供みたい。それもとびっきり手のかかるね。
She looked very pretty, she was tall, had a good figure, and was a very feminine girl. But her eyes were innocent. It was like she was looking at the world through a prism. There was a mysterious air about her. These designs were made by Amane for her best friend.
親友？そう、私たちの大先輩のはずなんだけど、実はどんな人なのかよく知らないの。イスカさんって言ってあまね先輩と2人でソアリング部を復活させたんだけど、その後いきなり学校を辞めちゃったんだって。
Reminds me, there was that one time about 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago, where we actually heard Isuka talk in her journal, but I wonder if there's going to be more to that.
イスカイス
Asa?
カあ、いえ変わった名前だなって思って、だからこれを作るんですか？
That's one reason, but that's not all. The mysterious clouds that you saw, we told you before how that's what we're aiming for, didn't we? We'd spoken many times about the last flight I took with Amane. We've been thinking about several reasons why we failed that time. There are basically 3 problems. I explained them simply so that Asa could understand. The first was the lack of lift. The glider was extremely well balanced, and between each of the flights we performed, we made adjustments to its design. It was what you would call an all-rounder, but it didn't specialize in any particular area, which might count as a negative since it had been built for a specific purpose. The thing we needed were wings that could allow us to fly high. When there weren't any upward drafts, we had to reach a high altitude as quickly as possible, so we needed adjusted wings. The next thing we needed was piloting skills. We realized that it took a lot of skill to find the upward drafts in the limited time we had to reach the Morning Glory. Last of all was the flight plan. When the Morning Glory appeared, abnormal weather patterns occurred over Kazagora. This affected where the upward drafts and thermals occurred, and how high they would be able to lift the glider. Also, which winds we should ride. For that, we needed to put together a plan. So that's how it is. Do you understand so far?
Hi.
She gave us a strong reply, but it didn't really look like she understood. Not much we could do about that. She was a new member and hadn't even done any test flights yet.
簡単に言っちゃうと、より高く飛ぶために高揚力の翼に改造しようってわけ。それがこの設計図なわけよ。
Amane must have foreseen that when she drew these plans. However, there was no way she could have made it by herself. We would be the ones to make her plans a reality.
じゃあ早速取り掛かりましょうか。
And that's a good stopping point. So let's save the game.
以前のデータが消えてしまうが。
And that was day 12 of If My Heart Had Wings. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. As a reminder, all of the VODs are available to watch on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and rewatch from the beginning. Usually I would say that I would be back next Sunday to play it. However, next Sunday is Halloween, so I will be playing Crimson Spires instead, which is a whole lot of fun. Looking forward to playing that for you guys. And in the meantime, I'll be back Tuesday, a lot earlier than now, to play our brand new game called Lucid Cycle. A lot of stuff to look forward to in this next week. So, yeah, as a quick reminder, this game is still available to buy physically for the Nintendo Switch, but there are not that many copies left, and once they're gone forever, so head over to PlayAsia and buy them while you still can. Anyway, that will conclude our stream today. On behalf of East Asia Soft, I have been Skull. Have yourselves a great day and a great week, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!